Feeling a little bit more hopeful now. I think people were getting a little bit stressed that they weren't going to have me fight this year, but guys, I'm coming back, don't worry.
The sound of a crowd doesn't always tell the full story. Sometimes it's the silence before it that carries the weight. Under the bright lights of an arena that has seen countless greats come and go, Dakota Ditcheva stood calm, collected, and electric. The cameras found her face, and the room seemed to shift. She wasn't just another fighter walking into a cage. She was a presence. In a sport built on toughness and chaos, her calmness was unnerving. Around her, the whispers had already begun. Dana White was watching, Conor McGregor had already spoken, and the fight world was holding its breath. It's rare for a single fighter to ignite such unified curiosity, but Dakota wasn't a rumor. She was proof. Proof that the next generation of women's MMA wasn't coming. It had already arrived. When she destroyed former UFC title challenger Taila Santos, it wasn't just a victory. It was a seismic shift. The precision, the composure, the violence delivered with almost artistic grace. It all screamed of inevitability. The question wasn't if she would reach the top, but how long the rest of the world could delay her arrival. To understand why Dakota Ditcheva now lives in the crosshairs of every major promotion, you have to understand where she came from. Her story doesn't begin under bright lights or with cameras flashing. It begins in Manchester, in cold gyms, on mats that smelled like hard work, surrounded by people who spoke the language of discipline. Her mother, Lisa Howarth, was a world champion kickboxer, a pioneer in an era when women fighting wasn't glamour. It was grit. Dakota inherited that fight, but she carried it differently. From childhood, she trained not just to hit, but to understand why. Every strike had purpose. Every movement was refined. Her Muay Thai base wasn't just her foundation, it was her identity. But she wanted more. When she transitioned to MMA, skeptics assumed she'd struggle. Instead, she adapted faster than anyone imagined. Within a few short years, she went from prospect to phenom, blending her mother's traditional striking wisdom with modern MMA's complexity. The result was something terrifying. A fighter who could end a bout with a single shot, but also dismantle opponents over time. A 140-pound storm wrapped in elegance and control. When she stepped into the cage with Taila Santos in late 2024, few expected what came next. Santos was a proven warrior, a woman who once took Valentina Shevchenko to the brink in a fight many believed she won. But against Dakota, she looked human, vulnerable, even lost. From the opening bell, Dakota dictated the rhythm. Her jabs snapped like a whip. Her distance control left Santos swinging at ghosts. Midway through the first round, Dakota found her range. A feint, a shift, then a right hand down the middle that echoed through the arena. Santos staggered, tried to recover, but the follow-up knee sent her crashing to the mat. It wasn't just dominance, it was deconstruction. The fight ended in devastating fashion, and the message was clear. Dakota Ditcheva didn't come to participate in history. She came to rewrite it. By the time she walked backstage, the chatter had already begun. "This girl," Conor McGregor said, grinning, "is the next superstar." Even Dana White, the architect of the UFC empire, had begun making calls. In the days that followed, the business side of MMA stirred to life. Rumors surfaced that the UFC had quietly tried to negotiate a trade, offering one of their own fighters to the PFL in exchange for Dakota. That kind of move almost never happens. Trades in combat sports are rarer than clean wars in politics. It meant something deeper. Fear and respect wrapped together. The UFC knew what she represented. a threat not just to fighters, but to the hierarchy itself. She wasn't just marketable, she was magnetic. Dana White has built his legacy on identifying fighters who move audiences. McGregor, Rousey, Adesanya, and Dakota had the same spark. The PFL, however, refused to let go. Their undefeated champion had become the centerpiece of their promotion, the crown jewel of their women's division. And while the UFC held silence, that silence was deafening. Every month she remained outside the octagon. Her brand grew stronger. Every knockout she delivered outside their cage was a reminder that the sport's next global star might belong to someone else. What makes Dakota so dangerous isn't just her record, it's her psychology. She's not reckless, she's patient. At 26, she already fights with the composure of a veteran. Every movement is a calculation, every risk a choice. Her Muay Thai base gives her striking and authority few can match. But her grappling, developed over years of quiet refinement, makes her complete. Her opponents can't find a weakness, because she doesn't fight from ego. She fights from instinct. Even her demeanor outside the cage adds to her mystique. In interviews, she speaks softly, respectfully, almost shyly, a stark contrast to the violence she delivers in the ring. It's this duality that makes her fascinating. The violent Cinderella, as fans have started calling her. Beauty and brutality coexisting in one fighter. Her highlight reels go viral, not just because of the knockouts, but because of how effortless they look. When she lands, she doesn't roar. She simply walks away, expression unchanged, as if chaos itself were routine. Then came the moment that lit the internet on fire, her meeting with Conor McGregor at a BKFC event in Dubai. Cameras captured it all. Conor, ever the showman, greeted her with open admiration. "Dakota, a superstar," he said, smiling. "You're the next big thing." In that brief interaction, two eras met, the kingmaker and the heir apparent. McGregor has always had a talent for spotting greatness, and in Dakota, he saw something that reminded him of his own rise. The charisma, the precision, the inevitability. His endorsement was more than a compliment. It was a declaration. The entire MMA world took notice. Within hours, headlines flooded social media. McGregor anoints the next superstar. UFC faces new threat from PFL champion. Fans debated dream matchups. Analysts compared her technique to legends. Suddenly, Dakota Ditcheva wasn't just a name. She was an idea. The idea that the next great MMA icon might not come from the UFC at all. But no conversation about Dakota can avoid one name: Valentina Shevchenko, the long-reigning queen of the flyweight division, the standard by which all are measured. For years, Valentina's dominance seemed unshakable, her technique flawless, her composure unbreakable. Yet, as time passes, even the greatest feel the pull of change. Shevchenko is now 37, still elite, but human. Dakota, 26, stands at the opposite end of that timeline, faster, hungrier, sharper. Analysts are already drawing parallels between Shevchenko and Dakota, the way they once compared Ali and Frazier, Jones and Cormier. It's not disrespect, it's evolution. Dakota's destruction of Taila Santos, a fighter who nearly dethroned Valentina, only fuels the conversation. Could she be the one to finally topple the queen? On paper, it's a stylistic nightmare for Shevchenko. A longer, faster, more aggressive striker with knockout power in both hands. The thought alone is enough to make fight fans restless. If the UFC ever secures her signature, that matchup will be inevitable. And when it happens, the passing of the torch won't be subtle. It'll be violent, poetic, and unforgettable. For now, Dakota Ditcheva remains in a strange space, both inside and outside the sport's biggest stage. She is the fighter everyone is talking about, but few can touch. Every victory she earns in the PFL adds pressure on the UFC. Every performance deepens the legend. She doesn't need to shout. Her silence speaks for her. Because when the bell rings, words don't matter. Movement does. Precision does. Impact does. And with every punch, every kick, Dakota is rewriting what it means to be a female fighter in the modern era. She isn't waiting for permission to enter history. She's already carving her place in it, one knockout at a time.